The third rise in fuel prices within 2 weeks is making it even more difficult for many Zimbabweans to survive. Soaring inflation, higher food prices and rising unemployment is making things even worse. Which is why the opposition movement for democratic change is planning to protest on Friday in the capital, Harare.
It's going to be a way of sending a clear message that enough is enough. We cannot continue to fold our hands when our mothers are suffering. We cannot continue to fold our hands when we don't have adequate food in our place. We cannot continue to fold our hands when we don't have fuel in our service stations. We can mention a number of things. We cannot fold our hands when there are no jobs in Zimbabwe.
The protest organizers say the demonstration will be peaceful, but the police are expecting violence. A year ago, soldiers shot and killed protesters disputing election results. More Zimbabweans were killed in January for demonstrating against rising fuel prices.
Government calls on all progressive Zimbabweans to desist from being used by negative forces to destabilize their own country, as this will only prolong the hardships which government is tirelessly working to address in a more sustainable manner.
Civil society organizations say they are concerned about increasing human rights abuses before Friday's protest.
We note with regret that 6 people so far were abducted by suspected state agents in the evening of 13 and 14 August 2019, and they've been severely tortured and left for dead. One of the victims had a harmful caustic liquid poured on his body. During the torture, the men accused the victims of being involved in organizing the August 16 demonstrations.
Officials in the ruling ZANU-PF deny the allegations. Opposition parties blame President Emmerson Mnangagwa and the ZANU-PF government for what they say is the worst economic crisis in a decade. President Emmerson Mnangagwa says fixing the economy will take time and that Zimbabweans need to be patient, but that's something many have little of these days. Opposition leaders say Friday's protest will be the first of many. They are planning more demonstrations in several cities and towns across the country next week. The success of those planned protests would largely depend on what happens on Friday in the capital. Haru, Mutasa, Jazeera.